chat with Orlando about, you know, insects. So I'm going to go to this one's first. Which insects do you think makes the best games? Or do you have to use the three suggested? Unfortunately, this time we are being rather specific, and you do have to choose one of those. And the reason being, it just gives a lot more focus and enables you learn something perhaps you didn't know. So let's just look at the three types of insect, like hoverflies. How could you make a game around them? Well, the obvious game which jumps to my mind at any rate is a game based around the competition for flowers. And you've got things like wasps, bees, and other flies all competing for the flowers. So you could imagine you could have different characters. And remember, you've got the dragonflies trying to eat the wasps, bees, and hoverflies. So you've got that. And you've got insecticides, the poisons people use on their gardens, killing them off as well. So that kind of creates a nice competitive game. The next one I was thinking about was dung beetles. And dung beetles, well, they lend themselves to any game which is based around competition for poo and collecting it. And you can see something like that in Emily and Rue's game. Remember, they're predators. They're crows, badgers, foxes. Oh, by the way, owls and bats. Pesticides and worming compounds given to cows really make the beetles sick. So, you know, you can imagine the hazard cards you could have in your board game, and yeah, something like that. And then you've got mayflies. Well, they clean the water by eating all the dying plants and algae, so that could give you an idea on how to collect points. Remember the hazards: dragonflies, water beetles, fish, birds, so lots of things eating the mayfly, especially when they're in the larval form. And then pollution to rivers really has quite a detrimental effect. So just so that answers, Orlando, I hope, your question, and also some questions that we've had before. So the next email I received was, where can I get ideas for board games? Yeah, so where can I get ideas for board games? Well, you're going to find those in our website. So they're going to be in the board games section, the how to, and you will see that there is a big load of information. It's here, top 10 bug games. There's a whole video explaining different game strategies, so it's a really good one to have a look at. We also have that's a great one, Complex Board Games. Gives you a really good description if you want to really create a really detailed game. So you're going to find most of the resources you need here to develop your games, and follow those links. Emily and Rue have also kindly put up a blog, and their blog has just got loads and loads of useful things, from how to make characters to making Lego beetles to making plastic bottle bugs. So lots of different things, and you can see there they're creating a mayfly game which was nothing to do with being on a board. It was three-dimensional, and you had to flick the mayfly into the fish's mouth. Well, there you go. You see, you can come at it from many angles. So let's just go back. That's the resources mainly that you can use. So oh, sorry guys, I think I transitioned poorly there. just touch base with those resources again. So what I was saying, in resources, you will find them under board games and how to. And you'll see, as I was saying, you will see them all here. And that's the first one, the how-to one, with its links. Top 10 bug games there. And then that's Emily and Rue's blog. Sorry about that, I was being a bit slow. And they're all Emily and Rue's brilliant ideas, which you can copy or develop from. So, and that's their strange game where they flick the mayfly into the mouth of the fish. Okay, so just coming back then to another question, and this was from Jane Peterson, emailed to me yesterday, which was, what do I need to submit for my board game? Okay, well, to submit for your board game, guys, what you need to do is to take loads of photographs of your board, your characters, any dice you use, and any cards you use, okay? And then include either a photograph or a document which shows all the rules you're going to use. That's really essential. And that you email to us, and you will see under the submission section of our website how to do that. We'll go through that in more detail as we get close to the deadline. Remember, the deadline is the 10th of July, and we're going to judge it by the end of July. So the next one was from Daniel Jones, and he wanted some ideas about making characters. Now, you'll have seen some in the presentation, so I'm hoping that will have helped you. But I think one of the most important things is self-drying clay, and you can decorate self-drying clay in many ways and make them into loads of different shapes, and there's loads of different brands of self-drying clay, so think about that. And there are also self-drying plastic clays as well. I love making things out of Lego in K'NEX, so they're a possibility if you've got those knocking around, and you'll see an item on our blog post on that. Lids, tin foil can make brilliant creatures, and they're quite simple, and you can thread little beads and colourful things onto them, and that can also be fun. Cardboard, you can make characters out of cardboard and paper, folding them and decorating them, and that's great. And obviously cardboard is excellent for making the board surface, so make sure you're saving your cardboard. Stones, branches, anything outside can be decorated and made into little characters. That's great. And one thing that people always forget, your kitchen stuff. Beans, pasta, seed heads, they can all be painted and made into little counters. So be creative, guys. This is a kind of imaginative question. Okay, and then we come back to the last question, which tied into Orlando's question. Can I throw it out to the group now? Is there any other questions you've got about the competition? Remember, it ends on the 10th of July, and that's when you have to make your submission. Yeah. I'm just looking at the site now, seeing if any of you guys need to type in anything. So I'm just going to wait for a minute to see if you've got any questions that I can specifically answer now. So. One thing I would say is, you know, when you're developing a board, and sometimes it's hard to think about a board, grid paper is really a useful way of starting, and it gives you some ideas. So mapping it out on grid paper before you make the board can really help. Yeah, so that's so I think I'm going to assume that we've covered all the emailed questions, we've covered Orlando's questions, yeah, enjoy yourself. We'll be putting up more information next week on the workshop to help you, and so keep on making, keep on creating, and keep on saving the